Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Super Guest Wednesday. It is January 25th, 1 month after Christmas. Yeah. And we got a great show lined up for you guys. We got one of my absolutely favorite people in all of crypto. That is none other than old Kellum joining the show today because we got a lot to talk about, and I think it's perfect that he's here today. We've been running kind of crazy on Bitcoin over the last week and a half or so, and a lot of people are wondering what is happening. Why is this happening? Who's buying Bitcoin in such mass? Well, guess what? Kellum is one of the guys who can help get you that kind of information. So make sure you stay tuned for the entire episode as we break down some great things. We also have on the 4-hourly chart some signs that another breakout is coming. The question, however, is it to the upside or do we take a little bit of a cool off first? We're going to cover that with Kelly and more. We got, I think, two stories that we will talk with him about. I don't know if he's heard about them. One of them just popped up last night around 9 p.m., and that is that one congressman. Let me get his name really quickly for you guys. Congressman, gosh, what is his name? Got to scroll on my thing. Josh Hawley. I think he's a congressman. Maybe have to quote myself on that. Is trying to pass a bill called the Pelosi Act, in which case people and members of Congress and their family members would no longer be able to invest in the stock market. Let me know in chat right now. First of all, do you like that proposal? And second of all, how great of a chance do you actually give it of passing? One way or another, though, we're going to break down what that means, because even if it's not going to actually come to pass, it does have a lot of implications to play out down the future. I'm also joined by my co-host for today, T-Shroom, and he's got some stories of his own he wants to cover. But first, T-Shroom, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing really, really great, Tim. I'm excited to have Kelly on. It's been many moons since I've been live with Kelly, and it's going to be super, super nice to do that, chat with him. Yeah. And, just get a little bit of an update on his career and how things have changed. But I've got a quote of the day. It's a little blurry, but I think that it's worth it. So let's check it out here. Nelson Mandela said, "Money won't create success. The freedom to make it will."
Ooh, it's good. That's good stuff.
That is a good quote.
That is a good quote. I just saw, I correct myself, it is Senator Hawley is the one who's trying to propose this bill. So in it, he says something about, we'll break it all down a little bit later, but he says in it, it's about Congress. Is he also going to block senators? Is it all people in politics? Is it just federal congressmen? Is it state congress? Who are the people this would go to? It'd be kind of interesting. I've seen in chat people already I think overwhelmingly it's going to get a lot of approval. I did see someone point out on Twitter that if it were to pass, which by the way, the likelihood of it passing is probably pretty slim. If it were to pass, though, there would probably be a pretty good crash in the stock market, because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, with them not having the insider tradings, there's less incentives with some stuff going on with lobbying, in which case it could cause a lot of problems. So we'll see. There's a lot of things to unwrap here. We'll unpack that a little bit later on when Kellum joins the show. He's on his way into the office, and he's going to be giving me an update as soon as he is available. But we got a lot of things to cover. First of all, we got 41 people watching, 22 likes.
Heck yeah.
That is not right where we need to have it. We got at least 20 people watching right this second that have not smashed that four-fingered mitten. Whoa, we're getting some feedback there.
Yeah, the four-fingered mitten needs to be smashed, guys. We got to smash that mitten. And if you don't know where the mitten is, just take a look at the screen here. It's right here, guys. Right under, see, look, there's the video. There's the like button. Don't hit the unlike button. Hit the like button. And you may even consider hitting the share button. And look at it. Just provides an easy way to share. You just copy it, and it goes right there.
I made a tragic mistake this morning, T-Shroom. I didn't pull up the Zoom link. So what this means is that they're going to be able to see and hear Kelly, and I'll be able to see and hear Kelly, but he will not be able to see me.
Uh-oh. The like button. Don't hit the unlike button. That's not good.
Wow.
That's not good. It's okay, though. We'll
It's great.
We'll figure it out.
It'll still be great. Like I said, as long as you guys get to see everything, that will be great. Let's go ahead and read some people who are here. First of all, I do want to give a special shout out, probably for the next couple of days, to our early Patreon participants. You don't need to go to my screen here, T-Shroom, but we got some new signups yesterday. Mitch Shaw is new on our Patreon in our Discord. Justin Eubanks, Margot Snyder, I think that's also Gia S, in chat. I could be wrong. Crypto Mini Bike, Elo Brown, Jose Minyarva, Crypto Ben Franklin, Jesse Oster, that's Mr. J, Eric Wallen, Matt C, Jeffrey Fritz, and Josh Newman, who's also known as Cryptex, have all joined our Patreon. We want to give a special shout out to them, but let's look and see who else is here this morning on the YouTube channel and give a special shout out to them. Yair Navarro was our first commenter of the day. He slipped in there with the old GM, again, major supporter of General Motors.
Yes.
So thank you for your support for that fantastic company.
Big supporter.
Mr. J, like I just shouted out, he is in chat this morning. CBD Suddy is here. Who else? Brian Hoskins is here in the building. Wind Peoples. I almost said Window Peoples. Wind Peoples. Gia S. Gia, I want to make sure I'm right on that. I'm pretty sure I'm right. You're Margot Snyder. I'm pretty sure. So if I'm not, though, correct me, and I will be happy to be wrong.
It's possible that she doesn't want everybody knowing that.
Maybe not. Maybe not. So
my guess.
Then tell us that it's not you. Brad Geidel is in the building. Crypto Trades is here. Lag is here. Who else? Mr. Bitcoin. Justin Eubanks. Alexandra G is here. Ooh, Davrick. That's a new one. Davrick.
Davrick.
Crypto Set Guys in chat, one of our moderators here. Let's see here. Adam Delgado, Servando Estrada, Mike Play, Amello Fellow, Crypto JMP, Grand Roofing Incorporated, Max PP, and I'll get the one more name, Mark Stove. Welcome. If I did not say your name, that is not because I don't love you. It is just time to go ahead and progress. Kelly just sent me a text message saying he is walking into the building as we speak. So T-Stream's going to keep me updated on what happens over there. If you guys are excited for some Kelly Kellum, go ahead and smash that like button. While we're waiting on him, there was something I did want to show you guys. I was playing around last night looking at some charts, and there's something very interesting happening. And this is an indicator I've seen used before, but I'd never really used it. And I was playing with it, and I noticed something really important. So I don't know if you're already on my screen. It's this indicator over here called EMA ribbon. So this is going to be measuring, just in case you guys are wondering, Tim, what the heck did you just pull up on your screen? This is measuring, the yellow line is the 200 EMA. Easy enough. All of these red lines are spread out between the 20, then the 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. The two most important ones are the 20 and the 55. And what this is measuring, when it is red, that means that the 55 is below the 20 moving, or sorry, the 20 is below the 55 moving average. When it turns back to being green, that's when the 20 goes above the 55 moving average. Why is this important? Because as you can see in this ribbons, it changes colors to kind of show you the waves of what's happening. There's lots of different indicators that do this, but this is just one of them that I thought was very interesting. And you guys can see out here on the daily chart, it gives you a pretty good indication of when you should be buying and selling. Yes, it's not going to pinpoint tops and bottoms, but you guys can see it doesn't usually. There's a couple of occasions here on the daily chart that it'll flip barely for a short period of time. Like, for example, right in here on the daily chart, we flash green very quickly early November. Guess what happened right there? This is actually kind of an interesting anomaly. Right here when we flash green, a couple days later, all the FTX stuff came out. So potentially, here's another thing we've kind of discussed. Were we about to turn bullish and then FTX thing happened, sending us down lower? But in reality, the reason we jumped up so quickly is because we were actually ready to turn bullish back in November. That's some food for thought. My point of bringing up this indicator, though, is it did just do something that is not done in a long time, and that's out on the 2 daily chart. And that is we have not been green ever since back here in December of 2021. Oh, wow. We've been red this entire single time. You guys notice the time we turned red, yes, it wasn't the pinpoint peak of the market back in November of 2021, but it was 1 month later, and we've been red this entire time. But here, just a couple of days ago, we have flashed back green on the 2 daily chart. So keep your eyes on that. This is a really cool indicator. It's absolutely free, or at least I found it for free. You guys can just go into your indicators and look up EMA ribbons, and it'll give you this. Like I said, the yellow line is the 200 EMA. Good, good to have up there just to kind of look at. But what I'm really paying attention to on this chart is the green and red. And again, that is when if you're really looking at the 20 and the 55. And this is a great indication. If I just showed you historically, take a look here. Let me go out to the log chart because it doesn't really matter what I'm looking at chart-wise here. Look at this log chart. This has been a pretty good indication of when to buy and sell. Yes, we had a little droll right there during the summer. It was a little bit late to the party, but of course, like I said, it's not a perfect indicator. But look at these other places that you get some buy and sell signals. If you literally just defaulted to, I'm going to buy every time it turns green and sell every single time it turns red, or even go aggressive and short every time it turns red. Historically, this 2-day chart with the EMA ribbons, not that bad of an indicator to be using for some simple trades, along with your good DCA strategy and anything else you do. Let's see here. Have we got any word from Kelly yet, or are we going to keep on going?
Yeah, not yet. But I will say I did text you the Zoom link, so you should have that.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to set. I might try to set it up during the when Kelly first comes on here. Let's take a look at some other things here. So this is a new chart that I was playing with. Let's go back and let's look at the normal thing. Just catch up what is happening in case anyone has not been watching. We put out a short little technical analysis video last night about Bitcoin. I think a nice little 4-minute video for you guys, but we can cover some of the things happening there in case you did not see it. We are looking right now, something I'm keeping my eyes on is this $25,200 level, and if we can surpass it, of course, historically, this would be very big because this would give us a new higher high, which would be great, and this falling wedge pattern gives us a breakout prediction. Let's go off the log chart actually really quickly, and I got to redraw that because I forgot that was on the log chart. Let me redraw this on the linear chart here for you guys. This right here is going to send us above. If you take the opening of this falling wedge pattern, move it over, you got to grab the little marker. This is giving us a prediction right here of 26,000. Another thing to keep your eyes on as we're moving here a little closer, let's go down to the 4-hourly chart and take a look at what we have going on right now. It looks like we have a bull pennant kind of forming right here. Technically only 2 touches on support, so it's going to be interesting to see what we do with it right there. But coming down to the bottom where we just broke out a couple of days ago, if we were to move this over to a potential breakout spot, this also would get us above that level, setting us somewhere up around 25,400. So be watching that. If you guys don't have that on your chart already, feel free to go ahead and steal that and take it and put it up there on your charts to keep your eyes on. We, of course, just broke bullish out of another bullish flag that had just happened right here, and we pinpointed it just perfectly around 23,300. Another thing we'll keep your eyes on. Let's go back over to my other chart here. Let me take down my EMA ribbons, and when we get Kelly on T-Stream, you just let me know. Another thing that I want everyone to be watching for if we start making certain types of breakouts. Let's pull up, and I'm going to go back all the way to the pandemic. I'm going to go to the pandemic to right now. Let's pull up our fixed range volume profile and take a look at some things. I played with this last night. I told you guys I was messing around. Just in case you're wondering, this is your little educational technical analysis tip of the day. You'll probably get more with Kelly because he's fantastic at it. But you can go into settings on the fixed range volume profile and adjust this. All this red and green. The green is up. The red is down. The blue is up. The yellow is down. The green and red, though, is in the 70%. Like, so 70% of the volume we're looking at is in those ranges. The outsiders is the blue and yellow. Look for peaks and valleys that we're looking at right now. So let me zoom in here and just show you where we're currently sitting when it comes to volume profile. Right now, we are sitting right below a peak here at 23,000. The question, though, is if we can get up, you guys are looking with me, this peak right here, 25.2, if we can get above that, there's actually a lot of room. It's going to be hard to go over top of that with that not only being a former peak, but also a former level of support. If we can get above it, there's just not a whole lot that's going to stop us from rallying all the way up towards 28,000. Now, any bear could come out and decide to start getting more aggressive, but if we're able to push past that 25, don't just even stop looking at that $26,000 level I told you about. There's actually a decent chance we could get up all the way to 28. With that said, though, I am getting the signal that Kelly Kellum is here and ready to go. So, Kelly, how are you doing this morning? What's going on?
I think I'm all right. Let me know.
Yeah, sound good.
How's the mic now? I just had to switch it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Did you do the show?
I was running this morning.
Did you do the show yesterday in Atlanta? I didn't get to watch the show yesterday.
Yeah, I got here on Monday, and I've been here the last basically since Monday, and just been hustling here at the BitBoy Hit Network Studios.
Dude, this is the first time I'm seeing that set, and that is absolutely beautiful. I'm getting kind of jealous. Did you design all of that?
Yeah, I basically put together how I wanted it to look, and then we got a really wonderful in-house, basically director of creativity and building and set design. And so I kind of pointed out what I wanted to do, and then we made it happen. And I just felt like I felt like a traditional housewife a few months ago when we were putting it together, though, because I was just shopping online for like, we need this book, we need these little book in holders, and we need this light here. We're gonna put a light here to really bring up the space, you know. So
Oh my gosh.
it was fun bringing it together, and then finally getting it to a point where we're you know, actually filming content in here now.
I like the crypto pillows. Those pillows are a lot of fun. Oh, has you got one more?
You got some more.
Oh, look at that. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Dude,
Good
this
deal.
is I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna see this more in person. We were up there a little bit and we saw some of the beginnings of this, but it was not fully built out. I love that. I know we're kind of going on here about the wall, and we're gonna get into crypto. Trust me. But I'm just loving looking at that, like the textured wall. That's like it's just one of those things like it makes you feel calm looking at that. Like you feel like the wall looks like it's like pillows and stuff. So you like it's like I can go watch that guy and like just lay in my bed and relax and just take in all the information. It's so good. I know we didn't bring you on here though to talk about your set.
We can take you on a tour.
Let's do it. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, while we're here.
We got we got some of the books you should be reading to really educate yourself, and then this is where we put some of the stuff. Then we got a new touchscreen deal that we you know, can do all kind of stuff, and we got all the cameras and the lights and a lot of good stuff. And then this is only set up like this because I do the daily streams 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Wow. So I have to set this up while I do that because I'm running OBS myself with Stream Deck and all this, and then I yank this down and then we film content for for BitLab without all this stuff on the desk. How the hell are you guys? How's everybody doing? It's nice to be back with you guys.
Dude, we are doing good.
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good.
Very good. Goodness gracious. I'm trying to pull it up. Well, let's do this, Kelly. When you're ready, we got a lot to cover here today. We got some stories we want to hover on the back end. Let's start off by just, I was doing some quick Bitcoin technical analysis here just saying ago, but I want to hear what you're thinking when you're looking at the Bitcoin chart right now. And I know you look at things a lot more from a more macro level. Of course, you're taking in a lot more data from on-chain and stuff. Let's just kind of dive into Bitcoin when we're talking about where is the bottom? Did it already come? Is it coming in the future? Who's been buying here recently? I'm going to go ahead and just hand it completely over to you to take that.
Well, you know what? I appreciate it. And I first things first, nobody has any idea where the price is going. But what we can do is we can utilize a various set of skills and probably, basically factors that can really highlight the probabilities on all these various things and really try to map out highly probable things. So I'm actually in the midst of pulling my screens up because I sent you that photo of the traffic. I've never seen traffic like that in my life getting here. So I'm pulling this up right now. I can share my screen, I suppose. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So let me know if this, there we go. All right. Let's go and make that proper size. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go into just the charts here, go to auto. And now one of the things I've been really trying to preach to people that I think is highly, highly important is, and I'm going to come over to my Twitter to bring this out. That is, I call it the 3-cycle strategy. And looking at this sort of map, which I posted months and months ago, really understanding that no matter where we're at in the specific trend, it's always in the midst of at least 3 different cycles. We have the macro cycle, the midterm cycle, and then the micro cycle. And so when we consider that, what we first want to do anytime we bring it up this chart is, I want to pull up that macro chart first. So we're in this massive downtrend that we're really fighting right now to get out of. And we've seen previous price points where it's been very difficult for price to break out of that. So as bullish as this price action has been, we have to meet this with a little bit of risk management, because when we go on that 3-cycle strategies I mentioned, macro, midterm, micro, we're on the macro. Let's go down to the daily. Now it feels very bullish, but what we're starting to see is one of the things I want to point out is this is a lot of momentum moving up this distance here, but look how much less momentum we had here. Okay. So there's less momentum pushing up to where we're at here and finding resistance. Of course, this is also meeting previous price action. So what I'm looking for right now is I'm actually going to go down to a much smaller time frame, looking at the 4-hour and maybe even the 2-hour, and noticing that this sort of support that we had on this bull flag here was also support coming out to this this flag here. Now, what I'm really interested in right now is, regardless of if we go up or down, either way, if you're hyper bullish, you still need to have risk management in mind. If you're hyper bearish and you're trying to short, you also have to take into context there's a lot of people shorting the market right now. And so you might just be fuel or fodder for the fire that gets liquidated, that makes massive bullish moves. So what I'm looking at right now are these levels right here. I'm looking at, and I have to move this window over. I'm looking at this sort of zone here, 24, anywhere from 24.2 up to 25,000 as a potential rejection. And to the downside, I'm looking at this level right here because it's basically almost like a point of control throughout all this price action that, from June 2022 all the way up to November 2022. This was basically almost the center point for where most of the volume was also in this region here. So if we do break down from here, then I'm looking for anywhere from the low side, really like the 19.6 is where I want to see it pull back to.
Yep.
I want to see, even as a bull, and I'm very bullish, I want to see this price action pull back. And if it doesn't find support here, I honestly think there's going to be a little bit of a shakeout, washout, come down somewhere in this region here, which would be the 19.6, 19.8 up to 20,300, somewhere in this zone, that then we lift off from there.
Kelly,
that's what I'm thinking.
We're of the same brain. I'm loving it. Do you think, here's a question I'll ask you, because those are the same targets. Do you think we continue to rally? And I loved your levels we were looking at in the 24,000 area. That's a level if we can't get to 25, 24 is one that a little concerns me. And if we hover right there and we can't break through it, that no 25 is happening, obviously. But when we break down, do you think we break down before Jerome Powell, or do you think we make that push up to maybe 24,000, maybe even getting above 25,000, and then Jerome Powell comes out and speaks a week from today and floods the market and we go down to those 19.6 levels?
Well, I mean, I think the problem with right now, the stream yesterday's title that we did for BitLab was, critical moment for Bitcoin. And I feel like it's so funny because I feel like every week we can honestly anybody could honestly do a stream that's critical moment for Bitcoin, because every single day feels like a critical moment, whether it's FOMC, whether it's the CPI data coming out, whether it's PCE, whether it just seems every day is a critical moment for Bitcoin. So where it stands right now, I think that I think that how we've held since FTX's collapse, and then this is what I mean by that. FTX collapsed, and there's been so much of the market shaken out so far that Genesis filing bankruptcy didn't affect the market.
Right.
The market was prepared for it. The sellers have left. I think what we need to watch out for now is in the small event of bad news, or for instance, if Jerome Powell comes out and there is a 50 basis point hike, ooh, I think that would cause quite a wave down. But I think what would happen, this is my speculation on that. If that were to happen, I think it's most likely that if they did that, they would also follow it up with their discussion later that afternoon with a dovish narrative. So they would send the market into a frenzy again, because they'd be very hawkish with their 50 basis points, but then they come out and then be like, hey, okay, I think we're going to go very light from here on out. I think that is a possibility. I think it's unlikely. I think it's more likely we're going to get to 25 basis points hike. And although we're getting a hike, the market is so already, I'm sure you guys have looked at the metrics. It's like 98% or something of the people are betting that we're going to get that 4.5 percentage interest rate, which would be the 25 basis points. So I think the market right now, those that are shakeable, that have, I think the market is intrinsically stronger than we want to believe it is. And I know T-Stream, you asked me about some metrics because I was in a car all the way here. I didn't get a chance to pull those up. And I don't have access to our shared glass node anymore. They terminated that, I believe. But you'll see when you look at long-term holder, when you look at the strength of long-term holders in the market and illiquid Bitcoin, meaning Bitcoin that is not stored on exchanges, or it's also being held by people that have proven to be longer-term holders. The long-term holder cohort in the market, meaning people that hold longer than 155 days, and in many cases, years, these are the people that make smart decisions in the market. They buy at lows and they hold, usually through an entire cycle and sell in the next cycle's strength of the bull market. So we're right now, as low as we are, we have the metric is ridiculous. It's like somewhere in the near 70% of the market is held by long-term holders and coins that haven't moved in over a year. So regardless of this whole year, think about it, this whole last year has been a downtrend. So the majority of people that are holding right now have held through blood on the streets. And so now we're starting to see accumulation starting to come in, and the whales haven't even started to accumulate yet, but institutions and smart money and smaller cohorts, the 0.1, the 0.00, the 0.01 Bitcoin holders, people less than $40,000 worth of Bitcoin. This has all been skyrocketing. So it's interesting to see the retail come in before a lot of these big money players. So I think all in all, I think no matter what you want to argue, I think we are in, if you can see, I'm not sharing my screen. You can see that I really believe that we're in this, did I share? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we see it.
Oh, I have two screens here. This is not the screen I'm sharing. Got it. Yep. So I think we're in this accumulation zone right here. And the argument really, no matter who you are, we can zoom this in a little bit. Why is it?
You did the opposite. You zoomed out.
There we go.
There we go.
So the argument is whether we are here and about to get rejected back down, or if we're here looking for confirmation. I honestly believe that we are somewhere in this region right here. I do think because there's so much bullish sentiment that has come in, there's so much bullish, I won't call it sentiment, hopium that's come in. Okay, I'm on the 2 hour. Let's go back out to the daily or the 3 day. Let's remind ourselves that we are in this massive downtrend. And if this were to play out all the way to the end, these sticky tools bother me when they stay on, the drawing tool. So if this were to go all the way to the end, I'm going to find this. Typically patterns break out somewhere past the 66%, mark. And we're kind of not really near that. So the fact that we have to be realistic that there is a possibility that this does get rejected down, and we have a price point that finds somewhere down here in the $13,000 level.
Right.
I think if we did fall from here, I think that's kind of, I would say the 12 to 13,000. This is as low as I would think that we would go. I do think that this bullish sentiment is, I do think we're going to get something like that. I drew this out the other day. I think we're going to get something like this, maybe even test down a little bit, but having this huge interim market rally that goes up somewhere in the $38,000 to $45,000 range and gets rejected back down. And then in 2024 into 25, we'll have a massive rally, that takes us to that 3.618, which would be the same as this 3.618 would be the same as this right here. This is also the 3.618 where we found the high. So what I'm really looking at right now is this is just only showing for possibilities that could happen. But what everybody should be focused on is what is our strategy right here at this resistance line, and also what are the key fibs of all these levels on the way up, because all these are basically likely going to be sticking points, and you need to have a strategy in place so you don't either just capitulate out of the market, but you understand that we are going to have rejections and pullbacks along the way. And what's your strategy? What's your map on the way up?
Yeah. That's so good, man. I got a question for you. When we're sitting here looking at this, because you talked about we could go lower. I was talking about this a little bit before, right before you came on, and I'm not married to that idea. I want to hear what other people think about it. When you're looking at the charts and you're looking at Bitcoin's price and what had been developing, do you think that if FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, that whole story had never happened, do you think we make that fall? And do you think we go below that level? Because for so long we were holding above 17,600, and of course a lot of bearish, technical analysts, they were saying, "Oh nope, we got a lot further to go." We had people calling for 9,000, still people calling for 3,000, 4,000. But when I'm looking at it, I'm sitting here kind of puzzled Because yes, we struggled below it for a while, but as soon as it started to sort of set itself out, it kind of catapulted us back up, which leads to, I think it's a pretty valid question. Did we actually have to go down that far, or was it, I mean, this is the best way to put this, that was a Black Swan event. Yes, some people saw some things that weren't really looking good, but I don't think anybody predicted it was going to be as bad or as big of a deal as it ended up being. And then after we've now conquered it, do you think we ever get down to those levels again? Like that's one of the reasons why I'm starting to kind of curve my thoughts and like, man, I was a holdout for is the bottom in or not, and I'm starting to say I think it is, and that's one of the reasons why the more and more I look at it, I question if we didn't get that Black Swan FTX news, I'm questioning if we ever had dropped below 17,600 again.
Well, so it's a great question, and I think technical analysis is all based on historic, breaking down historical trends and how they correlate with different signals and their relevancy and how often they do that and consistently over time. And so looking at this, I think that one of the things that we have to really take into account is that the FTX debacle didn't happen when FTX collapsed. It started when they squeezed Celsius, right? So this whole thing was part of one larger picture, from the Celsius collapse, that then through Three Arrows Capital, that then through Voyager, and all these things were tied back to each other. That then it's kind of like the bad actor finally, their bad actions finally caught back up with them, and then they went down. So I think it was baked into happening from the time Celsius collapsed. And if anything, what I would really want to, I don't want to say argue, because there's a lot of people that were hurt here, and it's terrible that people were hurt. However, I will say the silver lining in all this is that this happened in this cycle versus 2 or 3 cycles from now, because it kind of set a tone for really for large institutional players and just everyday retail investor alike, that risk management is not something that you ignore. I don't care how much you believe in Bitcoin or crypto, or that your favorite meme coin. I really could care less. The market doesn't care about you. For anybody that's listening, I don't mean this to sound harsh. The market doesn't care about you. We care about you. Everybody, here with the Investor Bros, here with the BitLab Academy, with BitBoy Crypto, our mission is to bring you all information so you can make better, good decisions that serve yourself. But the market doesn't care about you, so you have to practice risk management. And the thing about it is, these institutions that all have this cascading insolvencies in 2022, it really highlighted the need for risk management. No matter how much you believe in crypto, that you have to have healthy diversification. Whether that's, even if you're all in crypto, you need to be diversified within crypto. And that doesn't mean just having Ethereum, Cardano, AVAX, Phantom. That's not real diversity, because all those are layer 1 solutions, smart contracts platforms. You need to be diversified between different niches within the market. You need to be diversified within different sections of the coin market cap rankings. You don't want everything that's 300 and below on the coin market cap, because then you're all risk. You want to have those staples in your portfolio. You want to have your stop losses set for risky trades that you're doing. If you're a hodl, if you have a hodl strategy where you're doing or longer term time frames, swing trading, then be aware of that. And when you identify your entry, don't be zoomed in on a 3-minute chart, getting yourself a heart attack every 10 minutes. Have a strategy in place and be diversified. That will save you so much frustration in the long run.
That was really good, Kelly. It's almost like you're very practiced at explaining these complex concepts at a very simple and rudimentary level. Yeah. Could you speak to like maybe how you've gotten so good at talking about that kind of stuff? Well,
a while back, I was surfing on this application called Grindr, and this bear found me, Mr. Timbo Slice.
Okay.
No.
All right now.
Listen. So No, so for you guys took me under your wings years ago, a couple years, was it a year and a half ago now?
Oh, man, yeah.
I worked with you all of it. We had such a strong team over there with the Crypto Jeb team. We all love Jeb, love you guys, man. I miss our whole team. And but you know what? We all had different paths that God took us on, and we're all still friends. Everything's still good.
Yeah.
But while I was there, I helped build out the club DeFi that we had there. And then once I, went on my own journey, I got picked up over here at the Hit Network, and basically they've kind of put me in charge of running BitLab Academy, and we're completely rebuilding this from the ground up. I mean, we're doing like 25 new courses, over 200 new lessons, and I've basically just been breaking all that down and working with some of the other staff members here who will be teaching stuff as well. And we kind of go through the curriculum and figure out exactly who's going to teach. So it's just talking, baby, gift to gab.
I mean, it started from the very beginning. Some of you might remember, some of you might have been in the webinar we were doing. That's where we met old Kellum. We met him in a webinar. And we had a technical difficulty because our two technical guys, Smay and definitely not High Zach, we don't know how, but they both had like doctor's appointments. We don't know what happened. So Greg Grezik, shout out to, I don't know if he's in chat, but another OG, Greg Grezik tried to run the tech and it messed up. There's a lot of things that happened, but for a while we went dark. The webinar was still up, but we went dark. But like literally a minute before we went dark, we'd pulled somebody up on this webinar. We got to talk with them, and it just so happened Kellum went on stage. And so while no one could hear Jeb or myself or Greg, Kelly just went on about a 5-minute, like he just went and talked about his history, his story. People absolutely loved him. We went back and watched it later because we couldn't hear it while he was doing it. We went back and watched it later, and I'm saying, this dude knows crypto. Let's reach out and see if we can create some relationship. So shout out, if you guys remember that, if you were in that webinar, put a 1 in chat. If you heard that for the first time ever, put a 7 in chat. That is how Kelly and I, don't bleed the FUD. Kelly, dude,
the grinder
that
FUD?
would throw me off. The grinder FUD got me. I didn't even know what to respond to.
No, that was just a joke. No, but you know what it was when you guys, I made a decision because I had I've done a bunch of different online businesses over the last 20 years. I was primarily a musician, both singer-songwriter, and then I toured internationally as a DJ as well. And I made a decision during the pandemic. I was like, you know what? It's like, I need to pivot here because all the time that I've been spending since 2016 has been on crypto. Even when I've had other professional things I should be focused on, I'll get to, I had this audio business, and I'd show up and I'd kind of delegate tasks, and I'd be in the back room trading crypto, researching. And so when I came out of the pandemic, I was like, you know what? I think I need to move professionally, not just for myself investing. I want to move professionally into crypto because there's not that many people that have been around crypto, for 2.5, 3 cycles. So I decided to do that, and I was like, I'm just going to go to a couple webinars and I'll make something happen. So I went to y'all's webinar first, and then you invited me up on stage. And then when I went, I used to host radio as well as other video things and stuff. With internet companies, like training charisma and training how to network for professional networking, all this kind of stuff. So when you brought me on stage and there was an issue, I know how bad it is, especially if you're running something, if there's dead air. So I was like, well, I'm just going to keep the conversation. And I was watching you guys until you came back. And then afterwards, Greg hit me up. He's like, hey man, we should work together. So I interned at 38. I was interning for 20-year-olds, man. But that's what you got to do. It's a good point for everybody.
You
have to pay your dues.
I was about to say, Kelly, so because I'm gonna ask you another question about your story that I know the answer to, but I don't know if everyone knows about this story in your life. But what I want to say about Kelly, for anyone who has known him but doesn't know a lot of details about him, or if this is the first time you're ever meeting or seeing Kelly's face, Kelly is living proof that if you stay persistent and you refuse to give up and you just keep moving on, yes, you need good opportunities. Like, how cool is that he was the guy on stage when everything went dark? That's not going to happen to everyone, but he's just such a persistent person. He's so dedicated to his craft that he puts himself in so many good spots that does every single thing he ever happened to him end up being perfect? No, it doesn't. But when you're constantly going and putting forth effort and you're trying and you're making efforts, you end up getting into spots and situations that, look at him now. He is running the BitLab Academy at this point, I don't know. I'm going to just go ahead and say that I've imagined that Hit Network is the largest crypto YouTube / social media / the stuff that you guys are working on over there is just absolutely crazy. You went from, just being a guy in a webinar to now you're running that because you're so persistent. And I just want to encourage everybody out there, continue to, even on the days you get rejections, even on the days where it feels like everything's crappy, even on the days where you end up being, you hit a stop loss or you didn't set your stop loss and you end up losing a lot more money than you wanted to. Don't give up. Continue to be persistent. Continue to dive deeper into your education. And that kind of is my segue because I want people to hear about this, Kelly.
If things aren't working, change it.
Yeah, you have a story. You have a very, very expensive lesson that you learned in crypto a couple years back.
Yes.
Tell us what exactly happened, Kelly?
Well, I was trading in an uptrend, and I believed because I was trading in this uptrend that I was this profoundly excellent trader. Because even if you made a bad trade, the next trade you made, you'd be up 300% in about 4 days because because this is 2016 going into 2017 parabola. And I got good at trading. And then about a year later, I essentially, I didn't practice humility. That was a downfall. And no matter how often you do something, no matter how regularly you open charts, no matter what it is, we have to remember to practice humility. So much so that one of the things I've been saying every day on my live streams is every time you pull up a trading view chart, or an on-chain data chart, no matter what you do, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to get through this story. No matter what you do, when you look at a chart, the first thing you do when you look at a chart is you take in all the data. You know how many times I've looked at somebody else's chart online and I'm like, well, this is wrong. And then I realize later that the chart is inverted or it's a different time scale. Always look at what time frame are you on, what asset pairing, and everything. So essentially what I was doing when I was trading, it was the first time in my life I had about $70,000 or $80,000 that I basically had made from DCAing and trading. Most of it was trading up to that point. And because this was, because I had done, I don't know, it must have been like 80 trades or something. In my mind, I was a professional trader because I had done 80 trades. And, I was hitting pretty good metrics on them. I was probably like eight out of 10 trades. I was, not being stopped out of. I wasn't even losing any trades. And then I was like, you know what? I can be a millionaire next week if I just leverage trade this, son.
Nice.
So I started leverage trading, and I'm talking in under a week, I had lost probably 95% of all of it in about 3 trades. And that's just because when you do change, there's no need to be greedy in crypto. The gains that you have versus other assets that are available to you are already astronomical. If you want to leverage trade, I will say this. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I want to challenge you and encourage you not to do so until you've mastered spot trading. And once you master spot trading and you understand proper diversification of portfolios, how to manage risk, how to, spot trade entries. But every time you spot a trade entry, have you already mapped the inverse of that? So if you're trading on a bullish setup, have you already mapped out what the bearish potential path could be also? Because before I ever enter a bullish trade, I map out what the bearish possibility is. So I already have an action plan in place. If this price reverses or a Black Swan comes out, then I'm not trading on emotion. I already have a backup plan in place. So, and once you master these things, then you can start using leverage. But I want you, and this is where my big downfall was, I was leverage trading my entire portfolio like an idiot. And luckily this was years ago. And I call, like as Tim said it, I call it my crypto tuition because it was the best lesson I ever learned. And I almost gave up. I was like, man, this isn't for me. No, what I realized it's not that this wasn't for me. Bad decisions aren't for me. I was making bad decisions. So I gave up making bad decisions rather than giving up crypto, and realized that I can use leverage now as an asset to, rather than trading and say I have $10,000 that I have allocated, that I have in my trading portfolio. I don't need to trade all $10,000 of it. I can use $1,000 of it, trade it on 10x leverage, and then have the rest of my capital still safe and protected in my in my wallet without having to expose it to risk. But then the other caveat to that is if you ever do leverage trading, yes, I said do. If you ever do if you ever do leverage trading, you have to realize whatever exponential X you're doing, whether it's 3X, 5X, 10X, you have to take that into account in what your risk management is. Because if you have 5% stop losses on trading spot, which is still excessive, let's say 3%, you're okay with it going down 3% for your stop loss. If you're doing a 5X leverage, that's already, I mean, it's 3 times that. Every percent is 5%. So, going down 3% is 15% loss. So you just need to take into account all these things. I definitely don't recommend, especially if you're still watching crypto YouTube shows, I definitely don't recommend doing 30X, 40X leverage, because that's just, it's not for the faint of heart. I'll just say that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't recommend leverage trading. If you've had success with it, that's another thing, but definitely, I like what you said. You want to master the spot markets first, and that's hard enough. You can easily go 10 years without considering yourself a master of the spot markets. And once you feel you've graduated, you can get into and do whatever you want. But, take it from me. I have never traded leverage. I trade leveraged ETFs, but that's different. I'm not actually, it's a 3X leverage. First of all, is like the max. And second of all, it's baked into the ETF. So it is definitely leverage, but it's also on the stock market side. So it's not crypto. But Kelly, we have a pretty big story that developed over this last night, and I wanted to see if you had been clued in on it yet, because I'd love to chat with you about it a little bit. And here it is. So I'll go to my screen really quickly. So BlockFi's secret financials show a $1.2 billion relationship with Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto empire. Let me get into some of the details here really quickly. Bankrupt crypto lender BlockFi had over $1.2 billion in assets tied up with Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, and Alameda Research, according to financials. And now get this, that had previously been redacted, but were mistakenly uploaded on Tuesday without the redactions. So pretty crazy. A lawyer from the creditor committee confirmed to CNBC that the unredacted filing was uploaded in error, but declined to comment further. Attorneys for BlockFi did not respond for comment. I wouldn't either if I were them. The company had a total, according to the unredacted information, the company, BlockFi, had $302.1 million in cash alongside wallet assets valued at $366.7 million. In all, the crypto lender had unadjusted assets worth about $2.7 billion. And here's the kicker, with close to half tied to FTX and Alameda, the presentation shows. So kind of what this spells to me is that BlockFi is extremely embarrassed, and potentially operating outside of its legal purview, outside of its legal limitation, in how much it was exposed to FTX. Had you heard of that story, Kelly? And kind of what are your thoughts on that as I'm breaking that?
No, I hadn't heard of that until now, but it doesn't, I mean, for anybody that sort of cascaded into the insolvencies from May of last year to now, it makes perfect sense. It would seem unreasonable if any of those companies that have filed Chapter 11 didn't have some sort of exposure to Alameda and FTX. And so BlockFi, I mean, I don't feel like this is a bombshell thing. This is just more like giving resolution as to, okay, they've already filed Chapter 11. It makes sense. Gotcha. What I'm really looking forward to is this dirtiness of the stain on the industry that is FTX. Even talking to my mom the other day, we were talking about investments, and she's the most fiscally conservative person I've ever met. She spends an extra 20 cents on something at the grocery store. The second she gets home, she's adjusting her budget spreadsheet. I'm not joking. And so, like with crypto, like if she ever gives me a gift or this or that or money for birthday or whatever, she makes me promise, this is not go to crypto. And she thinks that how bad crypto is because. I mean, look how bad crypto is because look at what happened with FTX. I'm like, Mom, you don't understand. FTX is a stain from traditional finance, from Wall Street and centralized entities, which is everything counterproductive to what crypto and blockchain is. Through all of this, despite the massive yearly downturn that we had with pervasive just bearishness, insolvencies, the dominoes falling, and what's happened the entire time, you look at the fundamentals, and this is something not just technical analysis, but look at the fundamentals of Bitcoin and a lot of other cryptos as well. But look at the fundamentals of Bitcoin over all of 2022. We had an exponential increase in transactionable volume over Bitcoin in 2022. We have more people using it that's ever used it before. We have more long-term holders, meaning there's maturity in the mindset of people realizing, despite downturns in price, more people are holding through that volatility. That's maturity. The fundamental growth in Bitcoin, despite the downward action of price, is showing, it's proving the use case, improving the future of Bitcoin and blockchain. And we have to forget, and we need to expel, we need to expunge this stain that is FTX and these other centralized sort of entities. We need to use some of them like Coinbase or Binance or whatever, but we need to use those as a faculty of getting certain crypto sometimes. And once we have it, doing what we were meant to do with crypto, which is self-custody. And the more people self-custody, the less issue we'll have in the future when an exchange or something blows up like FTX did.
Yeah, and something you said earlier, Kelly, I think is another thing to pull back in. There's a hidden blessing in the FTX shabacle happening now rather than later. Like, can you imagine if FTX had escaped this bear market, stayed around with all the collusion that they were doing with people in the federal government? Look at those ties that they had potentially there with Gary Gensler and the SEC, the regulation they wanted to put forth and what that would do to the crypto space. Yes, I think the average person, like when we went to Thanksgiving dinner this year, and we went to Christmas dinner, and people knew we were crypto people, everyone was talking about, oh, what's happening with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried? Oh, you guys are in trouble. Yes, that's what they thought, but it changed the landscape and cleaned out. It was like a wildfire. Go ahead.
No, but people that are in the space, here's the deal. When you're early in the space, you're frustrated as hell about a bear market. The longer you're in the space, you're like, give me those low prices, baby.
Right.
Now, it sucks. I don't ever want people to lose money, but it's up to each one of us on our own to navigate this market. And that's one of the reasons why, all of us do these channels, not everybody out there doing channels, but you, T-Shroom and Tim and myself and Ben, so many people, it's so funny. So many people give Ben hate, and it's crazy being here at Hit Network, working with everybody. And every single meeting that we have as a team is focused on a different means of bringing more value to the viewers. Like, how do we make them feel safer? How do we give them more tools to navigate the market better? And so, it's we have to remember, whether it's Crypto Jeb, whether it's Tim and T-Shroom, whether it's me, we're all, this is a new industry, especially with the crypto YouTubers. Somebody like Ben that's been in the game for a long time. There's no roadmap or book about how to do all this, but we're trying to do this. I spend 100+ hours a week putting together streams, doing TA, writing course, all this kind of stuff. And then people ask why there's a sponsored ad on a video. It's like, how the hell do you think I'm supposed to pay my rent? I don't even have enough time to train. So it's like, there's a little bit of a give and take. Everybody needs to understand that, at least it's not like watching TVs where every 6 minutes you have 8 minutes worth of commercials. No, we're trying to integrate services and tools like crypto tax services every channel out there that does it successfully figures out a way to integrate useful things for the end viewer that's going to help, give them access to a better means of navigating crypto. Now, early on, of course, I think a lot of people got a little sidetracked by the money that was thrown at them by whether it be coin sponsorships or that. But for the most part, with a lot of channels, most of that's gone away. I know even here at BitBoy Crypto, we've taken no sponsorships for any project whatsoever in over a year and a half or something like that. It's only about how do we give more value to the end viewer. Because not just, it's selfish, really. We want the crypto community to be safer. We want the crypto community to have faster adoption and grow. The rising tide raises all ships.
That's right.
Right. So
Yeah.
us giving you all information and sharing our thoughts is helping people have more knowledge so that they can more healthily navigate crypto. And as they do better in crypto, they're going to bring their friends and family. And so we want everybody to benefit from the revolution that blockchain is, as it will affect every aspect of our lives in the near future.
Yeah, Kelly, I think you hit on something right there that was really golden. And we prioritize him when we set this channel up, and I've loved our community as we've grown. They've continued to apply this, that we want to be known as non-toxic. We don't spread FUD. We're going to cover as best we can, but we're respectful to people. But something I've been really, really big on for a very long time is whether we agree with people or not, to respect and to give honor to the other influencers, the crypto influencers. And if you see a piece of content out there on crypto, whether you agree with it or not, to go ahead and smash that like button, to subscribe to the channel. And some people might wonder, why, Tim? Why should we do that? If that person's wrong a lot, I don't agree with them, why should I do that? It's because I think that sometimes we get lost in the weeds about who the real enemy is. This happens, whether you're talking about, like, I've seen this happen within, me and T. Shroom and Kelly, we're all Christians. I've seen Christians forget who the real enemy is and start bickering with each other. I've seen we're living in the United States right now. Americans sometimes forget who the actual common enemy is, and then we try to fight with each other. Every sect you go, instead of looking and building together to build a community despite your different opinions, to build together, that's not what we're seeing in crypto space. We're getting pissed at each other because you want to buy and I want to sell. We're getting pissed because you think we should buy Algo, but I think that Algo is a terrible product. Or you think that Solana is going to be good, but I think Solana is going to be bad. We can have our own opinions, but guess what? Someone who likes a coin or an NFT or a project or does technical analysis different than you is not an enemy. The enemy is the people who want to continue the centralized system of currency, who want to continue to have power and oppress people that live in the world. And so when you guys hear me say that, I want you guys to understand that's my thinking, that's my heartbeat. I know Kelly shares that same bit. Hey, listen, I think it's a great example, and I've said this before. Have I agreed with every single word that Ben has ever said? No. But I've gotten to meet Ben. I do think Ben has a good passion for people, but whether I agree with him or not, he is not an enemy. For you guys out there, whether you like his takes, whether you think he does this or that, he's not an enemy. He is an advocate of the crypto space. Yes, you might disagree with him, but support the entire space, because guess what? Every single day that another subscriber comes into BitBoy's channel, every single day that he grows and grows and grows, that is building this entire platform and foundation for the entire world to actually succeed and have crypto come full-fledged. So I hope that if you guys don't already think that way, that you start to re-twist your brain and say, all right, I disagree with people. I don't love their takes, but I understand what side they're on. I understand what we have in common. I'm going to support that so that we can actually accomplish everything we want to accomplish and do it together.
Yeah, whether you hit the like button or the dislike button, it doesn't make the difference. Is kind of like art. Two different people could see art and see one person could be moved to tears, another person could be moved to laughter. But the point is it stimulated a thought or a feeling. So with these channels, especially on YouTube, the way we're able to continue doing what we do is because YouTube is able to measure engagement. So if it engages with you, even in a way you dislike it, it's like engage with that channel. So they can sort of share it to more people, and more people can agree that it sucks also, or agree that it's awesome. But either way, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. It's like the Jackass show. It's not like they had some profound content that was really meaningful to life, but it engaged a lot of people to want to watch it because it was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, and how do they measure that? Because people bought tickets to go to the theater. Well, the only way to buy a ticket on YouTube is really just free service, which is hit that like button, hit that subscribe. But I really, really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you guys bringing me on. I'm going to have to bounce because I have to set up for another stream, and then I'm doing TA on BitBoy show later. So it's a all day Kelly on YouTube today. I really appreciate you guys. Love you all. Everybody in this chat also, we share a lot. It's like almost the same community. Everybody goes from here. They come over to my channel, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, BitLab Academy, YouTube. But yeah, let's do this again. I'd love to have you guys on the show at some point as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys are, if you're one of the ones that does not go watch, there's a link in the description below for not only Kelly's YouTube channel, which is the BitLab Academy, where he goes live every morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. His Twitter is there as well. And we didn't get to really get into that, but Kelly has some top-notch Twitter Spaces going on, I believe, every Thursday. So make sure you check out his Twitter page. Check in for those Twitter Spaces. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on, man. We'll get you here very soon. And yeah, we would both love to come on your channel anytime you want us. So just
remember, the market is a lot like chocolate milk.
Hey.
Shake well. You got to hold on for dear life or have a strategy in place. Big love to everybody. Over and out. I'll see you later. Adios, muchachos.
See you later, Kelly.
Bye.
I did want to say really quickly, we did get a super chat from Bob.
Yes.
And Bob said, because, and he donated $2. So very much thanks to Bob.
Yeah, we also, while we were live, I saw an email came in. Tom Wilkes just joined as a platinum member of Patreon.
Hey, there you go.
So our first member over there, super cool. That means Tom Wilkes. I know your schedule's busy, but that means you're gonna get to be in our charity council. So you're gonna be able to help us select and choose where that 20% of all revenue is gonna be going. You'll be in our biz dev meeting. So as we're deciding, like, hey, is it time to hire a new editor, or is it time to expand into this new product? Is it time? What's new content we're gonna build? He'll get to be a part of those meetings. There's other levels on there too. There's gold and there's silver. And I do believe, I think the Discord is wrong. And I think Cryptex might have put in there wrong. Tomorrow, T-Shroom and I are going to be doing a AMA for all of our gold members. So if you're a gold member or if you're looking to sign up and you want to be a part of that, make sure you jump in. Tomorrow it will be at 11. I think we decided 11 o'clock. 11 to 12 is when we're going to be doing our AMA.
That's right.
Maybe it's 11:30. I'll have to go and look at the Discord. But if you guys, we're going to close out the stream for today. Fantastic show with Kelly. Always love having him here. If you have not already, make sure you smash that like on the way out. And again, if you love this community and you want to be a part of growing it and letting it be bigger and bigger, we have that Patreon down below. That'll give you so many different access points to us. That Discord already is popping off, only being around for about a day and a half now. If you want to be a part of that, make sure go click on that Patreon link, choose the right level for yourself, and we'll see you over in Discord. The rest of you guys, we will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. once again. Have a great day.